G-Dog Casey. So Diamond Player here, guys. G-Dog Casey, the blue Zerg, says, yo, I am having some issues in the video game, and I want to win more of my video games. I'm having issues against Mech with surviving into the late game against Mass, Tank, and Viking. Thoughts and Hellbat supporting it. I'm playing Roach Hydra into Corruptor, Brewlord, a Viper. Alright. So, I mean, basically Zerg versus Mech, right? This is something I've talked about a ton. I mean, I don't want to, you know, pull my own chain, yank my own chain or anything, but I will say I'm an absolute god against Mech, and I make insane comebacks against it on a daily basis. I mean, not to brag, but honestly, I find playing against Mech quite easy because it's a slower composition where very technical unit control can dismantle it. And it's a slower game pace, so as long as you understand how to control the units and yank your opponent's units with Vipers, you can do incredibly well. So we're going to look through and kind of get up to that Mech stage and see how it goes. So I don't want to focus too much on the opening efficiency, and there's always things you can improve, right? We're just going to look for the big important points with how to fight Mech in the mid game. And the biggest thing I always talk about is rushing Vipers out really fast. These Zerglings are a bit suicidal. Thankfully, they do get out of there. That was pretty risky, but there we go. He's going to be Roach Play. Roach Play makes your life pretty easy up against Hellion openings. It's much easier than playing the other ones. Interesting style. G-Dog doesn't pull off gas. Actually just stays mining the whole time and just goes for the Roach one and use that big gas bank. Now, in this scenario, you can delay these gases a lot longer. You definitely don't need to go 4 gases this early because you've already got this huge gas bank. That's 16 Roaches worth of gas saved up. Like, you're not going to be able to spend all of that. And what we see now is a super fast lair as well, and a super fast Evo chamber. Okay, so big problem here from G-Dog. G-Dog is not actually focusing on droning quite as much as they should be. Is building Roaches already, which is a good time to build Roaches. You do need them. But is making like lairs and Evos and extra gases a little bit faster than need be. So I wouldn't mind going up to 4 gases at this timing if G-Dog pulled off gas and put back on gas at like 3 minutes 30 or 4 minutes. But with the way G-Dog's been mining so much gas this game, is a little bit unnecessary. And we see G-Dog's just not prepared for this push, loses the third, is suddenly in huge trouble. Now this was a massive commitment from Purge. Purge has gone double reactive factory to get these units out so fast. Why has G-Dog not seen this? Wait a second, G-Dog did see this? Let's check how G-Dog scouted. So G-Dog's gone forward with 2 Overlords. Now this Overlord here should stay here, and then you're usually going to see most of their units that move out of their base. Really nice spot there. Or you can put it out here, and then you're going to see most attacks coming, and you use this guy to sacrifice. Instead, G-Dog actually pulls this Overlord in, I believe. Or was it a Zergling that already... Oh, it was Zerglings. Oh, it was the Zerglings maybe that ran in. Let's check. When did he scout that? Oh, it was this Overlord scouted like super early. Okay, and then had time to fly out because it wasn't even a Marine. All right. Okay. Scouted very early, but that's fine. I'm okay with it. I still think you should have a spotting Overlord out front. But saw double reacted factory. Now, it's nice to go up to 4 gases against that. But like I already mentioned the gases. Like, we've already got so much gas, we don't need it. And this attack actually hits us very fast. And it feels like maybe G-Dog got supply blocked or something. Because, I mean, he's built a lot of Overlords ahead of time. But where's the lava at? Like, what's going on? I feel like you should be able to have 40 drones and enough Roaches to stop this. Maybe this attack just hits faster than normal. I'm going to go back because this game makes no sense to me, guys. And what are we looking at? We're going to go to a dark corner of the map and use my most pro replay analysis technique, which is to watch the supply and watch the supply blocks, which we know are going to happen. Yep. So, hasn't built the Overlord on time here. These Zerglings were busy microing against the Reaper. It's going over to take the third, hasn't built an Overlord. First 2 injects pop out, your most important 2 injects. 9 lava sitting there, no supply free, hasn't even started an Overlord. This is what we call the Overlord of Death. This is the supply block of get wrecked. This is the every Zerg's worst friggin' nightmare, waking up in cold sweats because you just lost 80% of your ladder games in a day. You went and made a forum post on Reddit about how Protoss is broken. You then told your Terran friend he's a piece of shit for playing an Imber race. And then this tiny little sparkle of intuition came into your mind while you were dreaming. I was like, you know, actually you got supply blocked on 36 every game today, and that's actually why you lost. And you're like, no, it's because the other races are broken. No, it's because of the 36 supply blocks. Honestly, this is one of the most common supply blocks. Zergs always get supply blocked on 36. They always do this. Like Protoss players always get supply blocked on 44. Zerg's always on 36. Dude, every race has like these certain numbers where every player just gets supply blocked, and it happens even to high level players, but this is such a bad supply block. Only realizing a supply block when you're fully blocked. Oh my god, man. Whoa, it's so bad. And that's why I was saying you should be able to have 40 drones and have your roaches out, but because these larvae were just sitting there for so long, what happens, guys? If you've already got 3 larvae sitting there, your hatchery stops producing larvae. Not only that, why are these queens over here? What's going on? He stopped injecting his hatcheries as well. So G-Dog, you've really got to work on your opening here. You fell way behind in this game by losing that 3rd base. But even before that point, you just weren't in the position you should have been. Another tip, I personally always advise people to go 5 queens to have a little bit more anti-liberator and just general safety. But you want to save transfuse energy on those queens so they're actually helpful. 3 tumors, 2 tumors. Holy, oh, actually, is that just one? No, there's a tumor in the main as well. What are we having, a creep orgy or something? What's going? That's too many creep tumors. Early on, you just need like 1 creep tumor going like that way, 1 that way, and 1 connecting here and going that way. Like at most 3 or 4 creep tumors. We've got 5 tumors. It's a few too many. All right, it's a few too many creep tumors. It actually is just like no energy on the queens. Queen in the open dies. Ah, crap, roaches are too late and we end up way behind. So this game is just one of these ones, and this happens to everybody. You have this game, and the thing is, I want to make a point here. And that point is, the question was about how do I beat tanks and Vikings? And this is very common, is people to say, how do I beat this thing in the later game? Or how do I win this engagement? And I look back at the replay, and there's some fundamental errors going on early, which lead to a sort of spiraling effect where they're behind for most of the game. Now, who knows? G-Dog Casey might get back in a good position this game, but right now it's looking really, really bad for G-Dog. Only just put the 3rd base back down? That's another point. Guys, you see your 3rd base dying? You know what I would have done here, which would have allowed me to maybe come back a bit quicker? Oh, shit. I would have immediately said, that's dead. I can't save that. And I would have grabbed a drone and gone and built a 3rd base there. So that would be a 3rd base down at maybe 520, 550, probably 515, something like that. Now let's look how long it takes him to rebuild his 3rd. These units just back off. Super safe play by Purge. And that hatchery is delayed by about 40 seconds from when mine would have been down. Being quick with that, when you know a hatchery is going to die, always send a drone out to another base ready to put another hatch down. Is a good way to help you bounce back. But I feel like this is a game where Casey's going to be a little bit behind. So it's going to be a real hard trek. So you got to remember that whenever you're looking at your replays, it's always tempting to look at the last fight or the composition that you're struggling against and go, how do I deal with this? But you're always going to get way more value out of double checking the early stage and say, wait a second, was there something which really threw me behind that's easy to fix? Rather than figuring out complicated anti-mech late game, especially trying to figure it out from a game where you're just too far behind, trying to figure out, wait a second, how can I not fall behind? How can I defend my 3rd steadily? Or more importantly, how can I create a trigger in my brain to every time I hit 30 supply, build an Overlord? Remember, Zerglings are going to skirmish with the Reaper. I'm going to be distracted for a few seconds. Let's build the Overlord. Always build that Overlord on 30 supply. If you forget that, you're screwed. So anyway, the Spire doesn't serve a function. Useless. What G-Dog should be doing is G-Dog really needed to fully drone 3 bases, by the way. I get units are kind of being built for safety, but you're just never going to get enough army up unless he overextends into you. And Purge is playing very carefully. So Purge is just going to hit a critical mass, and our economy is so small. So what you should be doing is getting at least 3 bases up fully, going straight for Hive. We definitely don't need more queens right now. We just need a Hive. Trying to spread creep. I guess that's why that queen's rebuilding, right? And then trying to get gases on your 4th. And if you can get up to at least 70 workers, get out 3 or 4 Vipers as quickly as possible. Roach Hydra Viper, maxed out 3 or 4 Vipers, you can actually win the game. But with this massive army, you kind of need him to step into the open, and you need to get like a perfect surround, and then you've got a chance of getting him. And that's if some of his tanks are unsieged. But you're not going to beat a mass tank army with just Roach Hydra. So in this scenario, you probably have to kind of hide a bunch of units up here when he moves out, base trade and counterattack, and try to be greedy behind that and drone up. But we see here, G-Dog got scared into building this huge army, has no use for the army, and now is trying to drone minutes later. And it's too late. It's too late. Like, it's too far along, you know? We also see G-Dogs going for Broodlords, Hive and Spire at the same time before going... Forgot about the first Spire, by the way, so that's a huge waste. Before going for Vipers, I'm pretty sure. You should always go Vipers first, and then Broodlords is the finishing blow. Roach Hydra Viper into Broodlords is like the sickest way to play against Mech. Yeah, no creep spread as well is going to hurt. So, just on the back foot this whole game, and not really going to be able to contest this army because the tools aren't really available. Even with Broodlords out, if you don't have Vipers to abduct the Vikings, or like a ton of Corruptors, it's going to be really tough because there's no melee upgrades right now to make those Broodlings do a lot of damage. Luckily, it's only single armory for Purge. If there was +3 armor, these Broodlords would do next to no damage to them. But luckily, this army can kind of compete because of that. So check this out, guys. G-Dog with the whole army on one control group. I was talking earlier about how you need your Broodlords on a separate control group. All the Roach Hydra is already dead. It's already gone. 30 supply gone in an instant. So you need to have your Broodlords on a separate control group because then from here you can move there, A move, pull back to the right. Move here, A move, pull back to the right. Move there, A move, pull back to the right. And if he ever comes forward with his Vikings, that's when your Corruptors and Hydras come forward. But your Corruptors and Hydras should be behind the Broodlords, not in front of them. And this is a huge mistake a ton of players make. Now, I know there's people out there who are big Dark fanboys who will say Dark doesn't hotkey his Broodlords separately. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dark has some of the biggest throws on his Broodlord armies of any top-tier pro gamer. I have seen Dark throw away Broodlords and Vipers more times than he should. He's still one of the best at keeping them alive most of the time, but when a fight gets messy, sometimes his Broodlords just don't stutter step. Sometimes his Vipers will headbutt him because he doesn't use enough control groups. Rogue, on the other hand, a player who you want to copy with the way he micros his Broodlords. Rogue will control his Broodlords to perfection. I love Dark, but he's actually just like, he tries to manually control it, and he's not as efficient as he needs to be. Dark's probably the stronger all-around player than Rogue historically, but Rogue's actually the one who controls the late game army in a more efficient way. So we see Vipers coming out now. Where's the flyer attack or flyer carapace upgrades, and where are the melee upgrades? At this stage, you need that second Evo, you need that Spire pumping, we need these drones to be transferring. This base is way too late. By the way, when you're playing against Mech, you want to take so many bases, and you want to be up on like 10 gases. We also don't have any Overlords on the edges, and our creep is still very slow. So Hellion counterattacks could easily slide in and wreck the economy. They could slide down both sides of the map and we'd just be dead. So let's see what happens now. I think it's just going to be one control group syndrome being the problem here. Let's see how it goes. Parasitic bombs need to land on that army. The Vipers are on a separate control group, so I'm really happy with that. That's really good, G-Dog. That's actually awesome. Oh, 1, 2, no, only 1? Oh god, only landed 1 parasitic bomb. That's a mistake. Ooh, if you got 3 off there, that would have probably killed most of them. And the rest of the army all on one control group, so yeah, the Broodlords got left behind a little bit. Oh, really nasty here. Yeah, Vipers are the priority. Broodlords should come on top of that. And this would have worked out much better. GG's. That's it, guys. It's over there. Lost that army, and it is done.